is amazing, guys. This is like a drug. I mean, yeah, if you can't hold back yourself, do not get a GT500, because this car can get you in a lot of trouble real fast. It's just amazing. I mean, this is a beautiful machine. Hello YouTube! So this is Asfer from Hot Rods DFW, and I wanted to make a video for all you guys because I'm getting a lot of questions from my followers. So you guys have been reaching me out on my email and other channels asking me that what is my impression in terms of the Base GT500 and the carbon fiber trackback GT500. Now I know there are videos online you guys can refer, but most of these guys are reviewers and they're not the long-time owners of the car. So it's not an ownership perspective. So I thought, let me go out there, because I own the base car for almost 2 months. Yeah, about 2 months. And then I've had this car for about 1.5 to 2 months now. So I have got enough opportunity to test out both cars. So I am gonna divide this review, or you can call the differences, between 5 categories. First of all, looks. Okay. The second one is performance. The third one is practicality. Now I know practicality is not something what you expect from these cars, but many of you guys still want to use it as a, not as a daily driver, but sort of as a weekend car. So I thought practicality will be interesting. The fourth one is the collectibility. So that's going to be one factor I'm going to talk about. And then the last but not the least is the markup in the pricing. Now we know this car is more expensive than the base car, but there is a markup thing underlying the rods, and I wanted to talk about that. So 5 criterias, and then we'll compare based on those criteria. So just be with me and enjoy the video, guys. Alright, so now talking about the looks criteria. Now again, guys, if you like the look of this car more than the base car, then just go and get it. Like, I mean, stop the video right now and then just go and get this car, because that was pretty much my case. Because you don't get to drive these cars, so I never got an opportunity unless I bought my carbon fiber trackback GT500 to drive, test drive, because nobody lets you test drive these things. So I had no reference except the online reviews that this car is like a supercar and stuff. I just bought it because I love the way it looks. I mean, I thought about putting these the added bits on my own car. And what are the added bits? Basically the spoiler and these carbon fiber wheels. But guys, when I started doing my research, I mean, the best one was the Ford spoiler, and even on eBay and stuff, you're not gonna get this spoiler for at least less than like 12 to 15K. So that was phenomenally high price. So your option is go and talk to the, I think the ACS Composite, or what, there's a company, yeah, there's some company, I'll put the name in the video. They make actual carbon fiber pieces, and that one's gonna run you 3 to 4K. It takes like 6 months to be built and stuff, so it's a painful process. And then the problem is the trunk. You, on the base spoiler, you have holes on the center, so and that's not gonna look nice if you change on the base trunk. So you also have to change the trunk now. So I think that job will, at least with a good quality spoiler, will run you about 5-6K. So that's just the spoiler part. And then these carbon fiber wheels, I mean, gosh, I don't think you can get them from the Ford for less than like 25K. But there are deals on YouTube, and some of the YouTubers I follow, like Shelby Flyer, so Tim has bought different sets, and I did my research. You can buy a set of 4 for about 15-16K. So you're already looking at about 22 to 25K. So it just doesn't make sense, because you can pay less money. You can pay about, I think, about $15,000 on top of a base car with a handling pack and get the carbon fiber trackback. So yeah, that was my case, guys. So looks, absolutely go and just get it, like if looks is what you like, because I like the girth of the car from the back. This car somehow looks wider, and I love this spoiler. Not many people like this spoiler, but if you like the look of the old car, then we are talking. Then let's just proceed with the video, because yeah, there's no compromise on the looks. You cannot achieve the look of the carbon fiber wheel and the carbon fiber spoiler by spending anything less than 20-25K. So that's one. Now, since we're at the topic of the looks, so I'm gonna upload a clip from my base car, because I did a small video some time back. I've sold it now, but the key difference is this car is lower, and I'm gonna talk about that in the practicality. So I think it's about 0.65 inches lower at the back and about 0.3 or 0.4 inches lower on the front. Overall, I like this stance, guys. And then what I really love is, look at these tires. So they stick out, because on this car, which is carbon fiber track pack, the rear wheels are 11.5 inches wide. So they're wider, so the tire opens up a bit more. And I love this kind of look. Like, look at from the side. You can see the tire coming out, and somehow it adds to the girth of the car. So it looks beautiful in my view, and I love this look. So the rear tires they're wider. Like, for example, just have a look. Let's see if the camera picks up. I mean, the tires look very wide, and this is still a 315, and that's my Corvette. Look at the tires of the Corvette, which is 335. I mean, it doesn't look like a whole lot wider on the Corvette when you compare on this car. So it's definitely a better girth. Like, as you can see on the back, see how the tire sticks out so much. On the front, both cars, I think it looks the same, because both cars, the tire sticks a bit inward. I don't know why Ford did that. And I don't want to use a spacer, because this is a high performance car and I don't trust the spacers. But this is the look in terms of the wheels. And then, yeah, and that's the spoiler. I mean, the beauty of the spoiler is when you're looking at the car from a distance, and when this car is going on the road, it looks wide, guys. And that's how I got sold to the carbon fiber track pack, because I saw one car, and that was my first carbon fiber track pack, which I saw outside the dealership, and I was in my Corvette, and the guy was, it was a blue carbon fiber track pack. He was going ahead of me, and I just loved the rear stance, and that was my moment. I was sold. I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna get it. So yeah, that's on the looks. Rest, everything is the same, guys, because I'm gonna show you the interior, but you can get this carbon fiber trim as an option on the base car as well. It's a $1,000 option. So I love this one. It's a carbon fiber trim. It adds a lot of premium, feel to the interior. But since this is not exclusive to a carbon fiber track pack, for $1,000, you can get it on the base car. But then it all adds money. Like if you add this one, and then you add the handling pack, and then you add these Recaros, which are also not unique to carbon fiber, all this will add money, and the difference between a carbon fiber track pack and the base car will reduce. And I think it falls to around 15 to 16K for a nicely spec'd base car. So it's $15,000 more. But we'll talk about the pricing more in terms of the markup, because the markup on these cars are higher, but we'll talk in the other category. And one last thing is rear seat delete. Now, I mean, honestly, I like my rear seat, so I don't know what to feel about that. I would have not mind having that rear seat. Yeah, it may help you save a couple of seconds on the racetrack and drag strip, but I don't know how I feel about the rear seat delete, but you can always do that on the base car. So yeah, that is the look criteria. So for the performance, I decided that I'll put my GoPro, I'll mount it on the car. I'll have to test head mount or chest mount or the windshield mount, and I'll make the performance video while driving the car. So let's just dive right into the performance section. Alright guys, so I'm out to test the performance section of our comparison. And it's a very nice weather. I was really tempting to go out and drive the car because it's more than 80 degrees, so I know my Cup 2 tires are really gonna hook. So yeah, I'm excited for the drive, guys. So let's just try and hit some good roads so we can capture some good footage for all you guys. Yeah, so first thing, guys, I mean, straight outright, what you notice from the base car is this car feels more glued to the road. So it definitely hugs a bit more. You feel the difference, and the car somehow does feel lower. I mean, I know it's just like an inch or something, less than an inch actually, but you feel the extra, I think the ability that the car is lowered. So yeah, I mean, it feels more hooked and it feels more planted. So I think the lowered suspension, the tighter suspension tuning, and the Cup 2 tires, which are far more sticky, and today is a beautiful weather, so I think all these three do contribute to a slightly different feel. Now the good, which is obviously that the car feels more glued and more, I mean, it's hugging more the road, but the bad there is the suspension is considerably stiffer. I think it's almost like, and I have touched it on the other section of the video, but I feel like it's probably almost, I mean, if a normal for this car would be probably sport or even track of the other car. So it's, yeah, it's I mean, maybe slightly less than track, but it does feel very, very stiff. And the problem with that is, and I'm going to touch in the practicality section as well, but on these inside roads, when the roads are not leveled and they're bumpy, you feel a lot more of the road. Now I know you want to enjoy the visceral experience of the car, but it just feels very rough. I mean, I'll be honest, I won't honeycoat it. Like, the car on these roads feel very rough, but then when we hit good roads, you will see the same feeling then changes, and obviously the car becomes a better cornering machine. So I mean, there is no way out. What you could do is you can keep the suspension to normal. I don't like doing that. I feel I'm cheating the system. I like the car on sport. Right now it's on sport because I haven't even crossed 500 miles, so I'm not ripping it apart on the track mode. But generally sport is what I like, and sport does make suspension stiffer, and I feel that the steering and the suspension are very connected. So if I tweak down the suspension, it does take a hit on my steering. And with steering, we come to the third difference. So the steering does feel lighter, and lighter in not a bad way, because that was my fear, that I don't like a light steering wheel. So I was very concerned that, is this steering, because of the carbon fiber wheels have lower rolling mass and stuff, is this steering gonna feel much lighter? And actually it's more nimble. I think that's a better way to say it. So the car is more agile and turns a bit sharper, rather than just being a lighter steering overall. So it's not in a bad way. Actually, it's in a positive way. And when you're trying to corner and when you're trying to maneuver at high speeds, I think this carbon fiber wheel does make a difference. So that's the, I think the another difference. So the steering wheel feeling much lighter in terms of the rolling mass and in terms of the ability to take corners and turns. I love the sound of these Shelbys, guys. I mean, it's just amazing. I don't think, in my view, there is any third-party exhaust needed. I know you guys want to straight pipe it and then put Borlas and all. I think this is one car you can just leave the exhaust alone. It's just so nice. It sings like a symphony. I mean, my Corvette has an X-pipe and stuff, and it's loud, but I think it's just like, I like how the Shelby sound. Wow, that is amazing, guys. This is like a drug. I mean, yeah, if you can't hold back yourself, do not get a GT500, because this car can get you in a lot of trouble real fast. It's just amazing. I mean, this is a beautiful machine. Alright guys, so we have now some corners. Let's just test out the car, because because I think this is what this car is supposed to do. Wow, yeah, no, it is definitely on a different level, guys. You do feel a lot of difference from the base car, and there are some road closures, unfortunately, so it's just not what we expected. But yeah, I mean, this is a lot different than the base car. I think it definitely maintains 5 to 10 miles of speed higher than the base car on similar cornering situations, and I think that's the reason, like if you see any reputed test on a track, this car is almost I think about 4 to 5 seconds faster on a I think on a 2 minute less than 2 minute track. I'm struggling. I know I saw one video, I think it was by Andy Pilgrim, and he tested both cars on the track, and I think it was a 2 minute track. It was I'm struggling, what track was it, but I'll find the details. But yeah, this one, there was almost 4 to 5 seconds difference. So some of that could be due to the tires, but I think some is definitely the carbon fiber wheels and the different chassis tuning for both cars. And yeah, I mean, this is what I was talking, guys, like the moment the roads are rough, like this patch, it's definitely a much rougher patch than the normal roads. You feel the difference. I think the base car is more planted when on the rough roads, which is the classic problem of all. I mean, all the cars which have a high grade of chassis tuning, they all have this problem, guys. Wow. That's what I'm talking about, guys. I mean, all the Shelbys, I mean, both GT500s are phenomenal, but I think this car is on a different level. I mean, the best way to say is Ford hit a home run, a 10 on 10 with all the GT500s, but I think they've hit 11 with a carbon fiber track pack. Just a different level. Lots of construction, guys. And the brakes on this car, guys, I mean, the brakes are amazing on the base car as well, but I think due to the tires, because these are far more sticky tires, the brakes are phenomenal. Like, I mean, it's not carbon ceramic, I know that, but I think it matches the performance level of a carbon ceramic any day. It's just amazing, guys. I mean, it is a beautiful machine. I think if you got the budget and you've been waiting on the fence to buy something like this, a Shelby or even a Challenger Hellcat Red Eye, I think just go and pull the trigger. I feel very sad to know that the electric is soon gonna take over everything. So yeah, I mean, if you can buy one right now, just do it. Alright, guys, so we are back after a very spirited drive. The car is back in my garage driveway, and these machines are incredible. You won't go wrong whether it's a base car or a carbon fiber track pack. They're just phenomenal. I think no other car at this price point, within 150,000 price point, is as visceral and makes you feel as connected and wild. I think it's a perfect mix of something like a Corvette and my Dodge Challenger Hellcat Red Eye, you know, like it just has a different feel. I don't know if it's just me, but I just love this car. I mean, I love my Corvette, I love my ZL1, but this is on a different level, guys. So now coming to the practicality section. So I know I touched a little bit upon it while I was driving about the suspension tuning. That's what we're going to dive more deeper now in this section, because there's not a lot to talk about. There's just 2-3 points I'm going to make. But yeah, let's just dive into it. I'll flip the camera so you guys can have a better look of the car. And then let's just talk about how practical this car is. Okay, so now the suspension part. So guys, this suspension is, I think it's very, very noticeably stiffer than the base car. I mean, I would probably compare it between, like, let's say if you're on track on the base car, with probably normal on this car. So it's this one's really, I mean, a very, very tight suspension tuning. May not be track, but I know it's for sure it's actually stiffer than the sports suspension tuning on the base car. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if you drive a lot these cars on your weekend drives and all, and on these back roads like the road which is right next to my house, let me show you a view of the road, because I have a lot of, I won't call it back roads, but these are like the neighborhood roads and stuff. So that's right outside my house, and these are not level roads. These are not like your regular highways. So if you have a lot of driving you do on these kind of roads and you want to enjoy the car, I feel that this is a bit too much for these roads. Yeah, honestly, my GT500, the base car, felt a little bit more planted. It was a far more compliant drive. Now, it might be due to the tires as well. I haven't tested that on this Michelin. I think that car had the Pilot Super Sport tires, and this one is on a very track-oriented setup. But, I mean, I would probably say 10-20% because of the tires. However, by far and large, that car felt heavier and planted on these back roads and far more comfortable ride than the carbon fiber track pack. This car throws me a lot more, especially on these back roads. It's very much similar to my Corvette, because this Corvette is a Carbon 65 edition and this is the Z07 package. So this Corvette is also a track tuned suspension, and the exact same problem. This Corvette goes crazy on these inside roads, and plus it's a lighter car, so I don't really like how the Corvette feels on these kind of roads. The car which is far more compliant is my ZL1, and the reason, because it's not the 1LE, this is the regular ZL1, so it's far more compliant than either of these GT500 and the Corvette. Get it? Now the second point on the practicality, and which is these carbon fiber wheels. Now what I mean with that, guys, this wheel will not curb. So if you curb this wheel, this will chip and flick. So there's always in your mind that fear that you should not damage these wheels. And unfortunately, Ford no longer sells that wheel and tire coverage. So you cannot have that coverage and then just be covered, because these wheels are so expensive. So they stopped selling it. Any plan like a $1,500 wheel and tire package. So you're on your own if you damage this, and I don't even know if your insurance and who's gonna pay. And then the problem is the back order. I don't even know how long is the back order right now, because the wheel is made by that company Carbon Revolution. It comes all the way from Australia. So you're not gonna get these wheels, guys, if you end up damaging it. So yeah, if that's like you park your car, you want to enjoy it, then this is something you would really want to think about, that these carbon fiber wheels are very much on the aggressive and the premium setup side. And the last point on the practicality, because I just had 3, is the lowered car. So this car is far more lower. I mean, far more maybe subjective, but it's definitely lower, and that extra ½ inch to 1 inch makes difference. So there is a much higher chance of curbing your splitters and stuff. So bottoming this car on the front is far more easy. So if you have a driveway, and then, I mean, you can install some things called slip lows and stuff, but that's also something to consider, that it's a far lowered car. I mean, I don't mind it, because all my cars are very low. Like, as I said, look at this Corvette. So this is also an extremely low car, and even my ZL1, because I have a splitter extension, is also now super lowered. So that doesn't bother me, but that may be a concern for some of you guys. So yeah, that was the look section, guys. So now quickly moving on to the other section, which was the collectibility part. GT500, Shelby, they're all collectibles in my view. With the shift to electric, these cars are gonna hold their value a lot more. So I think no matter what you get, it's gonna be collectible. But in my view, a carbon fiber track pack will hold its value far more, because this is the exclusive version of an already exclusive car. So yeah, if collectability is in your mind and you really think how your car is going to be in 5-6 years, I think just go and get a carbon fiber track pack. And you may even think about the painted stripe. Now I know that's a $10,000 option, but I can tell you that will be the true car to get, because the number of cars, they're called golden tickets, so the carbon fiber track pack is already less than 1/3 of the cars are carbon fiber track pack. So right now, if you search for a new car across the United States for the remaining 2021 lot, you will just see like 20, 30 carbon fibers track packs, and then out of that, the painted stripe will be like 5 or 10, when the total number of GT500s across the United States is like 250 to 300. So as you can see, this is a very limited car. So if collectability is on top of your mind and money is not an issue, then I would say, and you like the painted stripe, obviously. I did not like the painted stripe. I just love this race red with the painted black roof. So I mean, I wanted to get exactly what I love. But if you really like the painted stripe, then that is the car to get. So yes, collectability, I will rate this car much higher than the base car, just in terms of the availability and the stock. And now that brings me to the last point, which is sort of, I mean, the cost to pay for the collectability. The pricing, as we discussed, is only $15,000-$16,000 more than a nicely spec'd base car if you don't get the painted stripe. But the markup, unfortunately, is much, much higher on these carbon fiber track packs. Yeah, I mean, I had to pay like a lot more. I paid about $7,000 markup on my base car, but this car ran me like up to $20,000 on the markup. So that will add up. And I don't know any other way. I mean, just look for the right deal, try to call all the dealerships and all, but you will for a fact pay a higher markup on this car, just because of the fact that it's more collectible and it's more exclusive. So I would say anything between $8,000 to $10,000 at least higher. So the net difference for any user between this car and the base car, in my view, will end up being about $25,000 to $27,000 because of the markup. So $15,000 to $16,000 on the sticker price, and then about $10,000 on the markup, and then obviously you're gonna pay the tax and titling and all the fees. It runs like 6.25% in Texas, so that'll run you another $2-3 grand. So roughly for this car, you end up paying almost $30,000 more, which is what sort of ran to me. So yeah, I mean, it's premium, guys. So that's something to think about even before you start your search, that you will end up spending 25 to 30K more. I mean, if you're getting a deal where you're not spending that much and you're actually spending just the difference between the MSRPs, then just go and grab this car. I mean, just get it. Like, don't even think twice. I think it's far more value for just a $15,000 to $16,000 more on sticker. This car is far more exclusive, looks premium, gets a lot of head turn. So yeah, guys, so that was my summary, and that was what I feel about these cars. So yeah, thank you for watching the video. I've tried putting some effort, and this was the video which is gonna be edited on my Mac iMovies. I've not started Final Cut Pro still, so tell me, share, comment if you like the way we did the video, and please like and subscribe. It inspires me a lot to bring these content. And then look for my next video, because I'm gonna do a JLT cold air intake, and I'm gonna do an impression video, a real world difference. I mean, we all know the what do you call the dyno numbers and stuff. What I really wanted to do is sort of real life difference. Do you feel any difference? So that will be the next video on the channel, so please look out for that. And thank you, guys, and just stay safe, and thank you for watching again, and please like and subscribe. Thank you.